The name of the poem is Out in the Fields with God. Lovely, isn't it? Out in the fields, with God, with God. Okay, this poem is written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Elizabeth Barrett Browning. She writes this poem about a nature poet. She's a nature poet. I'm sure all of you enjoy taking a walk, walking at the beach or in the garden or around your house. And what do you feel when you walk, take a walk in the beach, in the park, or down in your garden? Lovely smell of the freshness of the earth, cool, gentle breeze, and you enjoy as you walk along, isn't it? Now let us read this poem of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, a lovely nature poet, while she took walk out in the fields. She says, out in the fields with God. Let's see what she means by the title. The little cares that fretted me, I lost them yesterday. Among the fields above the sea, among the winds at play, among the lowing of the herds and rustling of the trees, among the singing of the birds, the humming of the bees. The foolish fears of what might happen, I cast them all away. Among the clover-scented grass, among the new mown hay, among the husking of the corn, where drowsy poppies nod, where ill thoughts die and good are born, out in the fields with God. Lovely, isn't it? A lot of things the poet Elizabeth has to say here. She says, little cares that fretted me. When she talks about fretted means the little cares and worries that troubles me, she says. I lost them, all my worries, I lost them yesterday. How? Out in the fields with God, isn't it? Among the fields, above the sea. When she saw the birds at play, among the lowing, what is lowing? The cries, the call of animals, among the lowing of the herds. When she heard the rustling of the trees, when she heard the singing of the birds, when she heard the humming of the bird, she forgot all her cares and worries. She says, it was lovely being out in the fields. It was being with God Himself. That's what Elizabeth liked to convey to us. Then she goes on to say, the foolish fears of what might happen, I cast them away. Everything went away when she went for a walk. Among the clover-scented grass and the new mown hay, that is recently cut hay, lovely smell. Among the husking of the corn, when they remove the top of the corn, the corn, husking, where drowsy poppies nod, where ill thoughts, when she said, when you go for a walk, you forget about all the bad thoughts, and good are born, she says, out in the fields with God. So she says, when you go for a walk, when you're close to nature, with birds and sea, and the rustling of the trees, with the bees, and the noise of the animals, and the noise of cutting of the corn, and all this, when you are completely in the nature, she says, you forget your little troubles because you're actually there with God. All right? That's what she says. We have some meanings here to understand better the poem. Okay? Now, what is fretted? Meanings, just few meanings for us to understand the poem. Fretted. Fretted. What is fretted? Worried. Worried, troubled about the little things. Next we have is lowing. What is lowing? Lowing is the call of animals. Call of animals. Call of animals. Next we have herd. What is that? Herds. What are herds? Animals that live and feed together in group of animals. Okay? Group of animals. Then we have rustling. What is rustling? What is rustling? Rustling meaning the sound made by the wind when it passed through the leaf. Sound made by the wind. Sounds made by the wind when it passes. When it passes through the leaves. Through the leaves or grass. Then we have cast away. Can I wrap some of this meaning? Cast away. What is cast away? Cast away. What is cast away? Thrown away. Or throw away. And finally we have some more. New morn. What is new morn? New morn. M-O-W-N. New morn means recently cut. Recently cut hay. Recently cut. These two also I am going to rub it off. And the next we have husking. What is that? Husking. Husking. Husking meaning remove the outer covering of the grain. Remove the outer covering of the grain. This is mostly done, you boil the grain, the rice with the top, then you dry it. After that, when they remove it, when they are husking, it gives a lovely little noise to get the wind. It's very interesting to listen to this. Husking, removing the outer covering. I've heard of it and it's very nice. Drowsy. What is that word? Drowsy. Drowsy meaning sleepy. Drowsy, sleepy. So what did the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning say in this poem? She says she's got some cares and some worries. She says she goes out in the fields to walk with God, and she says she gets lost there. Lost in the fields. Lost in the sound in the field. Lost among the winds. She gets lost among the lowing of the herds. Rustling of the trees, singing of the birds, humming of the bees. Then she says, she goes on to say, the smell of the clover, the grass, the new hay that is cut, the husking corn, and the poppies, the sleepy poppies, All this, she says, when she looks at them, when she hears all these sounds, she feels very happy because she forgets about her trouble.